What's up everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Is It Imba or Do I Suck? Today we're following Destiny, who sent me an email. Hi Harstem, I like your videos. Nice, that's a good start. In these two replays, I always felt like I out-macro my Zerg opponents, but sometimes still lose to their Hydra and then Lurker later on. I always scout everything and react and chrono my forges whenever I can. I know first replay my storm and upgrade was late, but I played really cautious. Bituki took forever to take his third and did not attack me. I even killed 12 workers, then I lost the pure Hydra. Alright, well we're gonna be looking at that first replay, so that's the only part that is really important. He did say, it always seems like I cannot outproduce my income and always floated minerals. Thanks for the videos. And he also wonders how many gates he needs. So the problem here is Hydra OP, as it also says in the title. So we're gonna have a look at this one. Mr. Destiny, who's playing against Shadow Water. He's missing a W, so it's either Shadow Aether or Shadow without a W, Water. I'll just call him Shadow. So Destiny against Shadow. Destiny is just opening with a very standard looking one gate expand, and Shadow just opening with also kind of looking standard 2-base play. Should be going into a 3rd base soon after the links hit the field. Now we have a Stargate opener, which is the most common one and probably the best opener in my opinion as well, and an adept into a Stalker. Oh, what's this adept up to? Decided to go back home. Maybe afraid of some kind of all-in. Okay, so he doesn't scout a 3rd base and he's like, hey, that's weird. You know, I'm just, what? Wait. Okay, so he scouts the back of a 3rd base. I thought his response was gonna be, I'm gonna go back home, finish my wall, because it might be like a link flood or something like that. I did not expect an adept Stalker move out into a 3rd base at 315. Into a Void Ray. If this was a link flood, this game would be completely over already. Usually if you don't scout a natural, what you want to do is just play very cautious. Or not a natural, if you don't scout a 3rd base from the Zerg, you want to play very cautious, like get your wall up as soon as possible, and then with the first unit you get from your Stargate, preferably an Oracle, you scout across the map to see exactly what he's doing, maybe try and get some damage done. We do see a layer tag here from Shadow, who's also going into a Roach War now. Honestly, if Destiny survives here, it's gonna be in a really good spot. Like he's basically up a base. Like his base started about a minute and a half faster than it usually does, which, you know, thumbs up for that, my friend. I like it. That's a big play. Yeah, Shadow's just gonna be kind of far behind. He's also playing 2-base, so in a usual situation, if Destiny managed to survive with an opening like this, he would be in a very good spot. But now he's playing against a guy who's just, you know, basically down a full base from the 4-minute mark on. So as long as he survives for the next minute and a half, I think he's going to be in a very good spot. Destiny, that is. He is, his Void Ray did get a single Overlord kill. His Oracle's going to be able to get some information as well. These batteries, I kind of understand them, but the problem is he shouldn't have opened a Void Ray. So a Void Ray isn't quite as good at scouting what his opponent is doing, and if you're playing against someone that's on 2-base, you want to scout as fast as possible. Like, in the eyes of Destiny, this could still be anything, don't forget. He has no info, doesn't have a tower, no map vision. Like, for all he knows, his opponent could have been massing links on 26 drones, you know? He hasn't seen any drone count, he hasn't seen a 3rd base, and he's just floating around with this Void Ray that isn't really doing anything at this point. Not even really in a good defensive position either. And the follow-up is Double Forge once again. This is done completely blind. Still also could be a Nidus, 2-base Nidus, Swarm Host, or just 2-base Roach, Queen Nidus, anything like that. But there's no scouting whatsoever, which is really bad. Another nice supply block. I think it's the 2nd or 3rd one that I've seen so far already. Also no scouting whatsoever with the adepts. Now finally we have 2 oracles going across the map. And even though Destiny hasn't scouted anything, he's been getting extremely lucky, right? Like, he's playing against a Zerg player that decided to not take a 3rd base until the 5-minute mark. and then just slowly drone up while getting double upgrades. Now, this is not a build order, and it's not very good. If you're a Zerg player, I would not recommend this. And Destiny would have died against every single all-in that the Zerg possibly could have done, but instead this Zerg is just playing a weird macro variation. So as a result, in combination with the, well, what is this? 14 unit kills, 13 worker kills that he got. He's just really far ahead right now. He's up 20 workers in a PvZ. He has double forges, which he can start researching from any moment now. He's getting a Templar Archives against a Hydra composition. Like, this is honestly as good as it's gonna get. Like, I feel like at this point, Destiny will have to work harder to lose this game than to actually win this game. Because if you just make any unit composition at this point, you just macro well and take a fight at a decent position, I think it's gonna be close to impossible to actually lose this game. Like, you're playing against a Zerg that's just constantly down in income, down in workers, down in tech. Only thing he's slightly ahead in is in upgrades. Because he's playing fast double Evo, or well, fast. He's playing double Evo, and Destiny kind of forgot to start his own 1-1 upgrades, which I'm not a massive fan of getting 2 forges against Zerg. Like, attack upgrades are way more important than armor upgrades against Zerg, because most of the time they work with very hard-hitting units, whether that be a Lurker or a Baneling. These units have very high damage, so the percentage that you take off with every hit if you get armor upgrades is a lot less than it is, for example, in a PvT where Marines, they shoot very fast and they have very low damage. So there you take off like 20% of the DPS, and here you might only take off like 3%. So not as big of a deal to get armor against Zerg, which is why most of the time you see TOS players just get a single forge and attack upgrades. Now we have no Storm, I believe, which at this point our friend, our Destiny, is completely aware of what it is, right? At least he knows it's roaches. Not quite aware yet of the Hydras, but always try to get Storm with this. Well, basically in any kind of game, you always want to get Storm. Storm is very good against Zerg. You need against Banelings, you need against Hydras, you need against roaches, you need against Swarmhosts. You always get Storm. Storm is the best. If you don't get Storm, then don't bother queuing up next game. Like, it's extremely powerful to get. Instead, what Destiny does, which even this I can kind of empathize with, he's like, you know what? I've been so far ahead for so long. I think I can just kind of A-move across the map and go kill him. Honestly, I don't even think I mind that too much. Like, he has a big army. He has a decent army as well. Like, this is Chargelot, Archon. There's going to be 1 or 2 Immortals. It's actually starting Storm as well, starting 2-2. And he has just more stuff, you know, like he's up 30 supply. So unless he takes a fight, like basically in this choke, or up a ramp, or accidentally move commands into his opponent's army, I think he should be kind of fine. Now, there's 2 rules. Well, there's 1 rule that I would say that is very important as a Protoss. Whenever you fight, always have a Prism with you in order to reinforce. Like, we're the only race out of the 3 that can instantly reinforce in a fight. We should use that as well, because we need it. So always, whenever you attack, always take a Prism. Destiny does not have that. He attacks into a Zerg whose 2-2 just finishes on a ramp while 2-2 is researching for him, while Storm is halfway done, against an army that's only gonna get worse. So this is the worst possible time to attack, at the worst angle possible to attack, without any kind of reinforcement, because there's no Prism, and yet he's still trading pretty well. No Guardian Shield being used either. Actually, against Hydra, armor upgrades are actually kind of nice, so Guardian Shield would have been good to use. So this was not only the worst anti-timing, this was, except perhaps for this location where he could have attacked into a smaller choke, absolutely the worst engagement to take. There was no reinforcement. Like, this was, I actually think this was the only real way for him to lose, except for a move command, or at least to... The thing is, at this point, I think Destiny is still very far ahead. Now you might be thinking, wait, Kev, why is that? He's down 30 supply. He does have Storm now, and a lot of Templar, but his opponent is on a massive timer. Like, the timer is not on Destiny. Like, Shadow Water is messing Hydras against a Protoss that has a way more sophisticated army with Storm, Immortals, Zealots, everything. There's no Hive on the way. Protoss has like an absolute crap ton of gates. There's 12 gates. Like, the army that the Protoss has is way better in quality than what the Zerg has. So if you're just very patient, you don't even need to attack. But even this, like, this is a pretty decent start of the fight. All you need is one more Zealot weapon here with your 1600 minerals, your 1200 gas. The problem is there is no prism. So once again he gets pushed back. And even now, with all this money, I'd say if you just warp in straight 4 Templars again, you get your Zealots out, you continue Immortal production. Look how much money he has. Look how much money there is. Look, he could basically be even in supply again if he just use all that money either into Immortals. You can start sending some Zealots around as well if you truly want to. These gateways should be ready again. 11 Templar being warped in. That's very good. Gets a couple for Storm. Now, ideally, don't forget, whenever you had a fight, the first thing you want to do is warp in Templar rather than first warp in Zealots, because you want to start getting some energy. This is... I'm not sure why he keeps doing this. Every single time he's like waiting for, like, basically for a better army than his opponent, or he's waiting to max out, and he just walks straight across the map for whatever reason. Like, I don't mind harassment, but this is not harassing. This is just straight up taking bad fights. Like, he does have some storms here, and I mean, he probably might be able to kill a bunch of drones. The problem is, it's just not necessary. He really just, all he needs to do is defend. Like, he's so far ahead. Economically, he's 93 workers as well. Like, his army is getting better by every second. He just sacrifices absolutely everything into the Zerg. Again, for the 4th time. It's a proxy gate. Once again, just starting with the 12 Zealots instead of anything else. 2 Immortals rallied in. It's like all he needs to do is wait until he has 200 supply and Storm. And you just sit there. He can even start 3-3. He could be transitioning into carriers right now. I don't care. Just no, there's a small army here. Okay, we're gonna have a look at this one again. Just the decision making of where to fight and how to fight just makes no sense whatsoever. So here, Destiny sees 3 Hydras with 12 Zealots. He's like, oh, whoa, there's a fight I might accidentally win. Let me just run straight into the 35 Hydras that I definitely can't beat. Yeah, here, 3 Zealots over here. Kill as many Hydras as the 9 Zealots that were over here in the end. Comes in with the 10. Safe location to morph some Archons. Brilliant play. Immortals being ready in. Like, just collect your army somewhere. And just wait until you have 2 storms available. Like, he just threw away another 60, 70 supplies straight into the Zerg. Like, at this point, yeah, you're probably losing. Like, well, Mass Hydra is very powerful. Yeah, Mass Hydra is very powerful if you keep warping Archons in his face. He even walked into him with the High Templar, A-moving Hydras. Realized that wasn't gonna work. I was like, you know what? What happens is just morph them into Archons. 6 of them. Destiny, 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 Destiny. Yeah. Interesting opening. You should have lost to any all-in the early game. We're doing the fingers again. Should have lost to anything in the early game. 2. You should have won all the fights you had. Every single fight you had. I think there are people who would have been able to win that with their eyes closed. I think it might have been better in some cases. For you perhaps in the future to just kind of A-move across the map. Because these fights, not the way, my friend. Get a prison with that army. You need it. 3. If you are the one that's getting a better army, that's up in workers, that is better tech, and has the ability to get better upgrades, your opponent couldn't get 3-3, didn't have Hive, don't attack into him with the same composition 5-4 times. Just giving away unit after unit. Just relax. Send some Zealots to harass and kill 4 or 5 workers. That's also cool. Wait until you have 200 supply. and just roll him. You had Mass Hydra. You had a 3k bank, 2k bank. Your army was massive. No more Archon morphing straight into his Hydras. If you see a small army that you can kill, just kill it. Just do it, man. You can do it. I believe in you. And for the question, are Hydras OP? No. You just suck. It's the way of the world, man. Sucker! Alright boys, that's gonna be it. I hope you enjoyed this fantastic episode of Is It Imba or Do I Suck? If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment down below. Also, I'd love everyone to subscribe, trying to hit 25k by the end of the year. Yeah, if we make that, that would be sick. Alright, love you all, see you next time. And don't forget, don't walk into Hydras with morphing Archons. Bye bye.